Be proud of how far you've come and get excited for what's next. Be proud of how far you have come and get excited for what is next. When you let those words sink into your heart, you start to realize how much they hold, how much truth is carried within them, and how much you often forget to remind yourself of this simple but powerful reality. Life has a way of making us always chase the next thing. The bigger thing, the unseen thing. We think of tomorrow's struggles, tomorrow's dreams, tomorrow's responsibilities. But rarely do we stop in the middle of it all and say to ourselves, I have come a long way, and that deserves recognition. Pride in yourself is not arrogance. It is not showing off. It is not about comparing your story with someone else's. It is about standing still for a moment and saying, my journey matters, my effort matters, my progress matters, and I honor what it took for me to be here now. Think back to the times when you thought you would not make it through. Maybe it was a season when bills piled up higher than your strength. Maybe it was when a relationship ended and you thought your heart would never recover. Maybe it was the time you felt lost in your career, with no clear path forward, doubting if you were even meant for more. Or maybe it was the nights when sleep would not come and your mind was racing with fears of what could go wrong. Yet here you are. The fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still trying, still moving, shows that you have already lived through moments that once looked impossible. You survived what you once thought would break you. That alone is proof of how far you have come. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Aaron. He grew up in a small town, working long hours with his father in a workshop. He dreamed of studying engineering. But money was always short, and every month his family barely managed to pay their bills. When his friends went to college, he stayed behind, working odd jobs to help keep the house running. For years he felt like life had left him behind. But he kept saving little by little. At 26, when others his age were already building careers, Aaron finally applied to university. He felt out of place, surrounded by younger classmates, but he kept going. 4 years later, he graduated, the first in his family to earn a degree. When he walked across that stage, his eyes filled with tears. It was not just about the paper in his hand. It was about every sacrifice, every long night. Every year he felt forgotten by life. He had come a long way. That is the kind of pride you must learn to hold in your own heart. You see, it is easy to celebrate the big victories, the promotions, the weddings, the graduations, the purchases, the milestones that are obvious to everyone else. But the truest victories are often the ones no one else sees. The day you got out of bed after weeks of depression, the night you cried yourself to sleep, but still woke up the next morning and went to work. The quiet moments when you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness. The times you stayed disciplined and kept saving even when you wanted to spend it all. Those victories are invisible to the world. But they are mountains you have already climbed. They count, they matter, and they deserve your pride. And yet, as much as you should honor the ground you have already covered, you must not forget the second part of the truth. Get excited for what is next. Life is not done with you. If you are still breathing, it means your story still has chapters waiting to be written. The fact that you have overcome before is evidence that you can overcome again. The strength you built from past struggles is not wasted. It is preparing you for future opportunities. When you shift your mindset from fear of the unknown to excitement for what could unfold, everything changes. Think of Sarah, a woman in her mid-30s who spent most of her life working in a company she did not love. Every morning felt heavy. She did it because she thought she had no other choice. But during the pandemic, she started baking from home, just as a way to cope with the stress. Friends and neighbors loved her cakes. Slowly, orders started coming in. At first, she laughed it off, saying it was just a side hobby. But deep down, something lit up inside her. 2 years later, Sarah left her job and started her own small bakery. Today, she runs her business full-time. And though it is not always easy, she says she wakes up every morning with excitement because she is doing something she loves. Her story reminds us that what is next may not always look like what we expect, but it can be brighter, richer, and more meaningful if we remain open to it. Excitement is a choice. Some people look at the future and see only obstacles. Others look at the same future and see opportunities hidden inside those obstacles. The difference is in the eyes that look at it. If you choose to get excited, you start to imagine possibilities. You start to believe that even your setbacks can turn into setups for growth. You stop seeing closed doors as punishment and start seeing them as guidance toward a different path. Think of Thomas Edison. History remembers him for inventing the light bulb, But many forget that he failed thousands of times before he succeeded. Each failure could have been the end. Each rejection could have killed his hope. But he kept saying, I have not failed. I have only found another way that does not work. That is excitement for the future. That is the kind of mindset that refuses to give up. Now, I want you to reflect on your own journey. Remember the younger version of yourself. Maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Remember the struggles that version of you was facing. Now look at yourself today. Are you not further along than you once were? Maybe you are not where you want to be yet, but you are certainly not where you used to be. That progress matters, and if you have come this far, does it not give you a reason to believe that the next 5 or 10 years can take you even further? Getting excited for the future does not mean everything will be perfect. No, challenges will come, storms will arrive, and sometimes life will shake you to your core. But excitement says, I trust that I can handle it. Excitement says, I believe something good is waiting on the other side. Excitement keeps you moving when fear tries to paralyze you. There was once a woman named Maria who battled cancer. During treatment, her hair fell, her body weakened, and her spirit was tested beyond measure. But each morning she would say to herself, I will live to see my children grow. I will live to see the sun again. That hope, that excitement for what could be, kept her fighting. After years of struggle, she recovered. Today, she says the greatest gift she gave herself during those hard years was not just the medical treatment, but the decision to keep believing there was something worth fighting for ahead of her. That is what I want you to carry too. Be proud of how far you have come and get excited for what is next. Remember the doors that opened for you when you thought all were closed. Remember the friends who appeared in your life just when you needed them. Remember the strength you found inside yourself when you thought you had none left. All of those moments are reminders that life is not against you. Life may be hard, but it is also generous in its own way. The truth is, your story is not small. Your story is not meaningless. Every chapter, every struggle, every victory, every lesson is shaping a bigger picture that you cannot yet see. You may feel ordinary, but your journey is extraordinary in its own way. You may feel like your progress is slow, but slow progress is still progress. You may feel unseen, but that does not mean you are not significant. So I ask you, what if you chose today to live with gratitude for the past and excitement for the future? What if instead of focusing on what you lack, you focused on what you have gained? What if instead of worrying about what could go wrong, you started dreaming about what could go right? Because the truth is, you are stronger than you realize. You have proven that already. You are wiser than you think. Your scars carry lessons, and you are capable of more than you imagine. So be proud. Stand tall. Celebrate even the smallest steps you have taken. And then look ahead with eyes wide open, with heart ready, with spirit eager. Because your story is not done, and the best is yet to come. Like, share, and subscribe to the Positive Pulse.